Have you started recording?
Oh yeah,
We didn't actually clap.
baby. We're about to, baby.
Do you want this in?
All right, 5 seconds after we talked about mic discipline, Miles
was-
screamed into the camera.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Football Frauds podcast. My name is Miles,
I'm Connor.
And I'm Matthias Matthew.
and we are here to talk football. We're three guys who have no football credentials, no experience, even go back to high school, but we're going to talk about our NFL opinions as if we know better than anybody else in the whole world.
If you want someone to regurgitate information that they saw online, this is the podcast for you.
We're just really souped up AI bots that regurgitate
That's
a bunch of podcasts
Pretty accurate.
with real personalities.
What do we got in the docket today, Miles?
Docket today, we're talking about potential head coaching candidates, which our guy Connor's been studying up on. We're going through which
Expert.
teams might fire their guy. We're going to talk about our specific opinions of whether or not they should fire their guy, and then we'll go through potential hiring candidates. The idea here is to just get a feel for which teams we feel like aren't being maximized coaching-wise, what potential candidates we think about the hiring cycle, and just kind of get our foot down or get our hands around who we think the best candidates are, what they provide to each franchise, how they could enhance a franchise, and then just talk about some of the shittier teams and
Yeah.
what they need coaching-wise.
Yeah, to pull back the curtain, this is before week 18. So theoretically, a lot of coaches will be fired in the next week from now. So we're going to try and predict what might happen there. And then after that, it's all going to be looking at the playoff teams and who's going to win the Super Bowl. But for this week, we're focusing on the teams that didn't do very well this season.
This upcoming Monday is known as Black Monday,
Black Monday.
which has nothing to do with race because we don't talk about race in this podcast
It's not a racial thing.
ever.
I assume it must have came from Black Friday first, and then, the black is supposed to be a bad thing. I assume in this case because you're getting
Unbelievable.
fired, but
I
it is
think it's-
scary.
I think it this is associated with like the
The plague.
kind of like it's everything's just getting slashed.
I think Black Monday was a big stock market day in 1929 when Black Monday, the stock market fell 12%.
We don't have the answer here. Again, we don't know too much about anything.
I'll stand on it. Actually, I'll put everything.
Okay. Credentials.
All
Connor
my
will stand on it.
credentials on it.
Expert. Okay.
So we're going to go draft order, basically, talk about the shittiest teams. We'll just kind of figure out our way through this. First pick in the draft right now, if it were tomorrow, would be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep.
Pete Carroll comes in. They bring in Chip Kelly from Ohio State. Chip Kelly has one of the biggest offensive coordinator flameouts we've seen in years.
Yeah.
He couldn't get a job in a major program. All of a sudden, he got hired as the OC at Northwestern. It's the best job he could get.
He's hired now?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
OC at Northwestern, but it's crazy how much of a 180 he went from people talking about him as a premier offensive coordinator candidate to not be able to get a real Power 5 job. I mean, Northwestern is technically a Power 5 job. But not
Yeah,
really.
I haven't seen a full breakdown. It just seemed like because people were really happy with what he did at Ohio State, and he did some good things. Where he left UCLA and it was fine. It went fine there. But I remember he revolutionized offense with the Eagles. Like he did some really unique stuff, like 2012ish, maybe 2010ish.
Yep, he's really big at Oregon before that.
Oh yeah.
So the Raiders, Max Crosby gets sat down when he's healthy enough to play.
Oh, yep.
He doesn't like that.
Fernando Mendoza Bowl.
This is the Mendoza Bowl. Big off-season topic is, are they going to trade Crosby? Can they get more than 2 firsts for him? They're probably going to take Mendoza. There hasn't been a bunch of word on whether or not GM likes Mendoza. Not a bunch of intel at this point.
Yeah, and I think that will all change depending on who they bring in. But if we haven't said it, I think we're all in agreement that Pete Carroll's supposed to be an older guy that can help you set the floor.
Right.
And he completely failed that. So what is the upside? You probably got to fire him.
Yes. I thought the Geno move was really smart. I before the season, I thought
Yeah.
that the Darnold move to Seattle was stupid and he was going to be terrible behind their offensive line. And Geno and the Raiders was just like, oh, yeah, he's a top.
Yeah, Connor,
14
what did you
quarterback.
think about what they might look like going into the season?
The Raiders.
Yeah.
I thought that it was going to be a tough. I didn't think it was going to be this tough.
Okay.
I would have put them around like a 6-7 win team.
Yeah. I think, but at least some competency.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's was still very clear holes in
Yeah.
what their team had. They have literally no secondary at all.
True.
Right. I mean,
Zero
But
people.
you just thought that Gino would be a league average quarterback at least because he's
Yeah.
a veteran, but like he's playing like a rookie that doesn't know what's
Mhm.
happening.
Spent a second-round pick on Besh. They already had Bowers there, Genty. They were supposed to be
Yeah.
in their offensive line statistics last year were as like a middling offensive
Yeah.
line. It was supposed to be
I think
solid.
especially the last six weeks or so, it was like pointing up. Like
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
was hope they could be average to maybe even above average, and they are back to like bottom 3.
Just haven't been.
So, and Pete Carroll's son was the offensive line coach with no history of being a head O-line coach. So the whole thing just failed. Pete Carroll wasn't really ready to do it all again.
Mhm.
The Raiders 32nd in offensive EPA per play this year, -0.2.
Yeah, that just should not be possible with a quarterback who's led different top 10 offenses before.
Yep.
That's a Chip Kelly. That's a Pete Carroll. Like Gino had enough, and they. I'm not putting it all on Gino, even if he did play bad.
Let's start to chip away at some head coaching candidates.
Yeah.
I'm just going to run through some names here.
So this is a situation where if they're drafting a number 1 overall quarterback, like a Fernando Mendoza, typically you see teams talk about offense.
It's a great
Mhm.
point. It'd be super surprising if they went with the defensive head coach hire after
Yeah.
drafting Mendoza.
100% agree.
So let's go through some offensive candidates. Clint Kubiak, the Seattle Seahawks, turned around a putrid Seahawks offensive line. First year with Sam Darnold, turned JSN to one of the best looking receivers in the NFL. Whether he did that with scheme or not, who knows? Maybe JSN's just awesome. But generally, just used like a wide zone running concept to unlock the Seahawks offense. Has been very impressive this year. They jumped in efficiency a lot. We got Joe Brady from the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
Really tough to tell if he's a Josh Allen merchant, but it seems like his scheme has been pretty specific. The Bills have been top 5 in offensive DVOA and EPA
Yeah.
per play for
He
years.
changed the Bills, what they wanted to do from just being spread. Josh Allen sees everyone and throws it accurately to like downhill running, more play action, more under center running. So he's at least done some things that's like not just like I'm just gonna let Josh Allen do his stuff. Like he has his own identity there.
Yeah,
Granted, the Bills' offensive line and James Cook are just really good, so you can't bring that with you wherever you go.
right.
I think he's a fine candidate, but it's just hard to say whether or not he's going to be a winner.
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
It's an ugly candidate, but I think he'll be really attractive to a lot of franchises because he offers stability and a sense of like we know exactly what this guy is. He's been in this position, we know that he can do it. He may not have like super offensive coordinator upside, but if you're a team like the Raiders, you just want stability and a floor.
Yeah.
And someone you feel like can come in and be a head coach and just do at least a decent job.
I think this would be one of the spots where like I hated him last year when you had Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen and Mike Vrabel. I'm like, why are we throwing Mike McCarthy's name around? But when
Yeah.
you see some of the candidates this year, I mean,
Mhm.
what do you think about Mike McCarthy going to the Titans or the Raiders this year, like for young quarterbacks?
I like him in Tennessee more than I do
Okay.
in Vegas.
What makes you say that?
I think that if I were Vegas and I was about to potentially draft the number 1 quarterback off the board, bringing in an offensive-minded head coach makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's a chance to start fresh, where having that young momentum and young energy coming in with a new guy.
Sure.
And so someone like
Boring.
Kubiak is someone I
Yeah.
like for Vegas, but with Tennessee, it's clear that there's something in the culture that needs to be changed, and
Yeah.
you already had one terrible year with Cam Ward. Having someone who has been around the block and
Yeah.
has been a head coach.
They had a younger offensive guy. That was
Yeah.
the whole thing with so you bring in another young offensive guy. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that does make sense. If a guy's a rookie year, you just try and chase upside and see if they can grow
Mhm.
together and be something great.
Yeah.
Or if it's the Titans, it's clear that you just need a floor. And if you're Mike Barganzi, their GM,
Mhm.
you're just trying to establish that we can at least be decent. So it makes
Yeah.
more sense instead of
Yeah.
taking a huge upside swing. Like, okay, we'll just set a floor and try and get somebody who knows
Yeah.
at least competent.
Because if you have another bad head coach, you could potentially waste your the first overall pick with Cam Ward.
Right. And more importantly, the GM probably loses his job.
Yep.
They suck again. So
Yep.
he's trying to set a floor.
Yep.
Cliff Kingsbury, who is the OC for the Commanders. I thought this was remarkable. The Commanders in offensive EPA per play this year.
The fall off you're going to talk about.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to talk about a fall off. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's scheme lit up the world with like they had no notable talent besides Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin last year, and they were like top 5 in probably EPA per play. What happened this year?
So it's a good guess, but I was actually going to say I was surprised that they finished 17th in EPA per play, just at league average, like literally.
You're
perfectly
surprised
league
it wasn't
average.
higher
I'm surprised that it was that high. Was my personal
Oh,
reaction,
because
given
of how bad the rhetoric has been.
given how weak their offensive line is. McLaurin's hurt all year.
Yeah,
Debo is really just kind of like he's kind of looks like a guy you generate plays for. He's not just a get open and like
Okay.
do sick stuff. Their offensive line kind of sucks, and it's just Mariota and Kingsbury is able to raise their floor to a league average offense.
their scheme is sound. If you could pay Cliff Kingsbury a lot to come be your OC, that'd be great. I like him as a scheme guy. It's just,
Yeah.
Are you going to commit to him as your head coach again?
I agree. He doesn't seem like a type of dude who's going to inspire people.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like a leader of men.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's subjective.
I think
but
things like they had some innovative scheme with Kyler Murray, but they never figured out the defense at all when he was in Arizona, and it just. I don't think he's a terrible candidate, but you want to hang your hat on a guy that like just kind of. He seems like he's more into like women than he is. I don't know, leading men.
Nice.
you got sources on that?
No, just like remember when the day after he got fired, he's like posting photos about his vacation in
Oh yeah, he took an OnlyFans model to Thailand.
Thailand.
For like a month.
So it's just like, I don't know. He could like, maybe he's a great head coach. He's way better than me. But just the idea of like a guy being like, I don't want to coach anyways. Look at me. I'm having fun on a beach. Coaching doesn't matter that much because look
Yeah.
at me now. I'm like,
It feels like his destiny is to be a very good OC.
Like all I'm saying is Ben Johnson, if he were ever in a situation where something like that went down, he'd be like, fuck, what do I need to do to become a better coach and to figure this out right now?
Yes, he would. Todd Monken, OC for the Ravens,
Yep.
has held them to a pretty high floor. They consistently have a good running game, whether that's Henry and Lamar, or you think it's the infrastructure. That kind of runs through most of the OC candidates or guys that are former OCs. The guys coming out that haven't had head coaching jobs this year, or even guys that have, it's a pretty heavily weighted DC class. Like a lot of these guys are
Yes.
defensive minds that could be potential head coaches.
There is one more name that I wanted to get
For offense,
Shoot.
For offense,
what you got?
I want to know what Matt's take on Matt Nagy.
Oh yeah. Well, there's been reports about him, so you got to
Yeah.
bring it up. I went back and looked at the Bears' offenses probably a month ago under Nagy. In 2018, when we had like an amazing defense and probably a simpler scheme and didn't ask Trubisky to do as much, they're actually like above average in some stats. It's just hard because when you have some promise early with a young quarterback, you expect him to like keep building it. And now we know Trubisky's not anything legendary, so that's part of it. Giving Nagy some slack. It was 4 years of kind of mediocrity, and I think he's not someone that's going to tank your organization.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure he's put more thought. But like, you look at what the Chiefs' offense has been even the last 3 years with Andy Reid and Nagy, and it's not that inspiring. And so if you lose Andy Reid and obviously Andy Reid's in charge, so Nagy could have different ideas now. It just seems like a stretch. It's not impossible, but among retried candidates, I don't know if he inspired you enough to do anything more than just say, like, give him an interview and be like, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you coming
Yeah.
in today, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
These headlines just feel agent-driven to me. It doesn't make
Totally.
any sense to me why Nagy would be. Maybe he is, and maybe NFL teams think differently. But just in terms of like the classic test of is this guy being better than the system that he's
Yeah.
in, like the players that he has.
But at the
No.
same time, like Mike McCarthy had Rodgers and Dak Prescott. Nagy had Trubisky. Like, do I really think they're that different of candidates? Maybe not. Maybe they're more
Okay.
similar.
Then Nagy gets Patrick Mahomes.
As an OC, he did.
And look what happened there.
Yeah, true. But he never gets to call plays with the Chiefs.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Um,
No, I just thought it was interesting when I saw his name come up as one of them.
No, that was a good point.
All right, so we generally think that, of course, the Raiders are going to take. I would be, in my head, it's like a 70% chance if the Raiders are at 1, they would take Mendoza right now, and if they didn't
Yeah.
go quarterback, that'd be shocking to me. We're going to spend a lot of time in the draft this year. For our listeners out there, shouts to our listeners. Thanks for
Yeah.
the super chats.
We'd be
We love all of
nothing. We'd be
you.
nothing without you
We'd be
guys.
nothing without you guys. We're only doing this for you. We don't even like each other. We just
Yeah, we're
wanna
doing it for
build
the
a
money
following so we can
specifically.
make money someday. So keep giving us money. Let's move on. to the New York Giants, who fired their head coach a bit of the ways through this season after blowing 3 straight touchdown plus fourth quarter leads. They arguably have the best setup for any head coach opening that's available this offseason.
Just 1 second. Mendoza is currently minus 425 to be the first overall pick. I just wanted to
There you
throw
go.
that in there.
The only wrench that could be thrown to that, we'll get in this future episodes, is if Dante Moore goes on a run here and if
Mhm.
Oregon beats Indiana in the college football semis.
That would be fun.
I still think it'd
Gosh.
be tough to overthrow
Yeah,
Mendoza. as
definitely.
one,
But there's a reason it's not minus 10,000.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's still a heavy favorite.
Or the Norris. Maybe he's going to come.
No,
Nope.
no. He already committed
Arch-
back to this.
Arch Manning.
The Giants have probably the most enticing. It depends on what you think about Dart. I am the ultimate Dart skeptic. I don't trust anything that's happened this year.
Yeah.
I am just going to default maybe more than anyone else would in media, because we're part of media now.
Yep.
That Dart obviously has the injury prone thing. It doesn't feel like he's ever going to be able to sustain
Yeah.
a career without a bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
And I just don't believe in his production. That's probably just pre-draft bias. And in fact, it's definitely pre-draft bias. But I would like another year of sample size for him to prove me
Yeah.
wrong.
I view Dart as a positive to coaching candidates, but not something insane.
I think his ceiling is it's so low.
Yeah. I saw him layer some throws against the Bears and do some things like on the run without just scrambling. When I watched that game, I felt like there was more to him than just like scramble, throw to the first read.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And he didn't even have any like receivers this year because Neighbors was out.
right.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a good job. I think they're right to fire Dable. I think he in year 4. Yeah, good year with Daniel Jones, bad year with Daniel Jones. I forget if he had 3 or 4 years, but it wasn't good enough. And maybe he's going to be a good coach again. But like you
Yeah.
can't just keep mediocrity in your building for that long.
Right.
The guys will stop listening when it just doesn't work.
What's really interesting is if they keep their GM this offseason.
Oh yeah, Joe Shane.
A lot of people have said that they wanted to keep Shane around just for the transition period as
Yeah.
they hire a new head coach, but they've talked about letting him go.
Yeah. What do you think, Connor?
I haven't been a fan of that man for a while. Wasn't he the one on Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that
I
was-
Just a legendary bad press
That was
tour
tough.
for Joe Shane. About as bad as it gets.
terrible.
I know.
About as
He was-
bad as it
He was
gets.
probably the one that signed the contract with Hard Knocks too.
I mean, he's definitely was like, yeah, get these
they
guys
had-
in here.
Yeah, that's not one of the ones they can force you to
Oh,
do.
Dude, you know
man,
he
that's
went into that
terrible.
situation having this wet dream of being like, dude, everyone's gonna see how good of a GM I am. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna show me on
And I'll be
fucking
super
HBO.
I
Yeah,
think
They're
he's
so fucking
fine.
cool.
I think he's gotten a little unlucky, a little lucky, and overall, because Dable and Daniel Jones, his biggest mistake was signing Daniel Jones to that extension.
The reports are that Mara wanted that extension.
Okay.
Who knows? I mean, but you have to kind of hold him accountable.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones did good stuff for 1 year with Dable, and now he's done good stuff with Shane Steichen, so it's
Right.
not completely idiotic.
Then you franchise tag Saquon, and he walks, and it's
Yeah.
just the optics of it are obviously disgusting.
Yep, totally.
I think out of all the teams, though, I definitely lean more towards offensive-minded head coach, as we talked about that
Yeah.
in the past.
Yeah.
But I think if there was a team that I wouldn't mind just having just a gritty
Oh,
defensive
yeah.
head coach,
Yeah,
I think the Giants.
Dude.
think
I'd
the
love to go
Giants, man.
Giants, go defense.
yeah. So
I think Dart can work in a lot of different offensive schemes,
Yeah.
or like a specialized scheme.
Mhm.
So I think they're fine to go defense for head coach.
the Giants have this nasty defensive setup right now with
Yep.
Burns on the outside, Carter, who's considered a blue chipper, and then Dexter Lawrence in
Dexter
the middle,
Lawrence.
and Thibodeau off the edge as well.
Yeah,
The talent behind that is very meh. Their corner situation is the worst in the NFL. Dante Banks, their first-round pick from 3 or 4 years ago, Deontay Banks has been the worst-rated corner per PFF for years. He's always been in like the bottom 5%.
hmm
Their secondary's trash, but that feels like something you can coach around based on a bunch of situations we've seen across the NFL, at least to some extent. If the Giants lose this next week and they keep the 3rd overall pick, say the Jets win, they're going to have hopefully some capital to be able to move down if somebody wants to trade up
Yeah.
for a quarterback. In my mind, I keep doing mocks, and I have the Giants trading down and then taking a guy like Caleb Downs at like
Mhm.
6 or 7,
Okay.
or someone who could fill out the back of your secondary and fill a bunch of
Yeah,
roles for you.
It
and-
depends who's if it's the Jets or if it's the Cardinals, or it just depends who wants to trade up.
Right. They have a tackle opening. Andrew Thomas is considered one of the best left tackles in the NFL. Is
Yeah.
there, but pretty much a kind of a sick setup in terms of head coach openings
Yeah.
for the offseason.
Feels like it's a good organization in terms of like they're really patient
Yeah, right.
with their coaches.
If we did
Family owned.
our potential GM job openings draft, if we did a head coach opening draft out of this offseason, I think the Giants would probably go first, given how patient Mara has been in the past.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I think that this is probably the most attractive
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Neighbors, Andrew Thomas, Jackson
Yep.
Dart, the D line you just mentioned. Like,
Scatterboo.
you have blue chip guys, which like a lot of restarts
Yeah.
you have like 1 or 2. They have like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. We ready for the Tennessee Titans?
I'm seeing Jets at 3.
I skipped the Jets. You want to talk Jets?
To me, we need to make a decision on what to do with Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like they're not. I would not say it's a definite, but I think if they just fired you, wouldn't like the fat lady wouldn't sing. There's something there. Something along those lines. Talk football to me, Connor.
I think that if they end up drafting a quarterback, Aaron Glenn's gone. I would not want Aaron Glenn
Yeah.
to be there with your supposed franchise quarterback.
Hmm.
If they don't, if they take Arvell Reese, if they take a defensive guy, even if they get a wide receiver, I'm fine with Aaron Glenn being there.
The weirdest thing that happened to me this year is they took Tanner Engstrand, who was with the Lions, where they had Jared Goff, and it was like a quarterback who couldn't move, and they're doing play action shots.
Mhm.
And then they signed Justin Fields, and it's like
Yeah.
maybe if Tanner Engstrand's the GOAT, it could work, but like Justin Fields needs to run it completely. He does not like anticipating windows in play action windows.
I really think all that was the Jets front office getting to a certain point in the offseason where all the quarterbacks were looking around and
Yeah,
going,
and they had
okay,
the
well,
money.
we need somebody.
Yeah.
Like we need to sign someone.
And Justin Fields Justin Fields always played well against Aaron Glenn.
Right.
Another
And
part of it.
it's easy to talk yourself into Fields' upside. Athleticism is in
Yeah.
the right situation with 2 good tackles, blah, blah, blah.
So I will come out strong that I think they should give another year. Like these other candidates aren't leagues above what Aaron Glenn was as a candidate. They traded away some picks, and I think he can set the cultural floor enough time to see if Engstrand can get a little better, keep Engstrand, and maybe you sign the big discussion is whether you sign a quarterback or draft a quarterback this year or next year.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about that today because that's probably a big discussion. But I'd like to keep Glenn if I were them.
I agree.
I think that if you're not going to replace him with an offensive-minded head coach, you're not
Yeah.
going to replace him with anything better than the current situation.
Yeah.
So
Titans. Brian Callahan, one of the most disastrous head coaching outings after a
Yeah.
season and a half.
It just didn't work.
Yeah.
I was pretty locked into the Titans football.
Yeah.
you want
this
to
year.
show
Yeah.
our chat the
Yeah.
shirt.
Rep the shirt.
Yep.
W's in the chat.
$5 super chat. I'll take it off.
Shout out Alec.
Yeah.
Sound like you look a
Yeah,
millionaire
but
guy.
I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but I was saying that I don't think I've ever seen a less inspiring coach than Brian Callahan. He just looked like he just really never cared.
No aura.
It's almost like he knew that like it was over, like he was gone.
Yeah.
Even though like he had the rookies, the rookie quarterback, everything was set up for him to prove it. But even from like the beginning, the get go, it was just like he knew he was out.
No aura. I think he's a guy you'd like to have on your staff in any extra role, like helping on
Mhm.
offense. But once he's the head coach, so he's leading the culture and he's leading the offense, and it's just like every time you heard him talk in press conferences it's just like he's not a loser. He just didn't have. He had no like you didn't want to follow him based on how he spoke.
Wasn't that a throw to Io Manor this year where he got the
Mhm.
rule wrong in the press conference about not understanding that
yeah.
that looked bad.
it was 2 elbows in and not one knee,
Yeah.
which I didn't know. I felt like a casual. I was like, I thought that one what was it, one elbow or
It was one elbow. It's sufficient because we had one leg and then an elbow, and he didn't get the other leg in.
yeah. And he was like, that's not a catch.
Yeah.
And I felt like a casual because I didn't know that, but that is really hard in a press conference if you get a rule wrong, especially when you're losing that much.
yeah.
Okay. I think that the worst part of it is I can't remember which way it was, but in like the post game, he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know. Sorry. Like, it's a heat of the moment thing." And then the next day, he's like, I know the rules of football, okay?
Yeah.
that like just the lack of understanding of how to talk to the media. I feel like that is a thing that you could think is not a big deal, but it just comes down to also talking to your players. Like if
Mhm.
you're not consistent in every single thing you do, players are smart. I mean, they're just people. They're like they're gonna see through you and like, how am I gonna follow you when
Mhm.
you're just saying whatever's convenient in the moment and you're not like practicing what you preach?
Yeah.
Right. You got to have principles and values and stand behind those and be
Yeah,
consistent.
and you got to worship God.
Well,
True.
the problem is, I think the biggest thing that I knew was just gonna be a crapshoot was half of their offense was rookies outside the offensive
Yeah.
line. Like you got
Yeah,
Cam Ward,
Calvin Ridley was dead.
Chim, yeah, and then Tyler Lockett gets traded too.
He was
Gunnar
dead.
Helm, Ellick. It's just like,
Latham
and you
second
and you
year.
have these guys listening to that guy who couldn't
Yeah,
inspire my dog to eat
and they
puppy chow.
I think like if you look at their draft history before he came in, it was terrible. It didn't get that much better under them, so they're just so devoid of talent. I'm not saying
I do think the golden rule for thinking about coaches, though, is that remembering that none of us would care about any of this if he was just good and they won games. Like, I think Brian Callahan is just Zach Taylor. Like, I think that if
Yeah.
Zach Taylor sucked and the Bengals offense sucked, he'd be like, this guy's no
True.
fucking aura. He can't
Yeah.
lead,
if Joe
man.
Burrow
Like,
went with Brian Callahan to the Titans, he'd probably stay the coach there for 5
yes,
for 7
exactly.
for 7 years.
I just think it's important to remember that, like, if you just lose games and suck, everyone's gonna just tear apart the rest of your entire like
No,
existence as a coach.
Think about Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was winning, and everyone's like, "This guy,
Oh my
he
God.
just has the swag."
He's just like a fucking
Look
rule
at-
breaker.
look at
Yeah,
his-
dude,
look
he's
at
just
his
on the cutting
joggers.
edge. I can't believe that no one's done this before.
now you're like, "This guy's a little too corked up."
Dude, beginning of this year, yeah, when they started off like shit, everyone's like, fucking gotta fire McDaniel. I can't believe a head coach. Can you imagine following a head coach like this around a guy who acts like this
Yeah.
at your facility and believing in him as a man?
Exactly.
He wins whenever he wins
No,
4 of his
it's a
last
really
5.
good
And it's like,
point.
yeah.
It's hindsight bias to the max.
Yeah.
But it's hard when there's 32 teams and like not even just us, like people who analyze the football full time, they don't know the in and outs of the building. So
Yeah.
you just overreact to the record.
Yeah.
that's all we have.
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
Jonathan Gannon on it's tough to say because he came in with a really shitty roster. What was it, 3-4 years ago? You
Yeah.
remember, Matt? Really shitty roster. It seems like drafting wise, they've done it pretty average job in terms
Yep.
of taking guys who are considered to be drafted where they're at, pretty like normal value. They
Mhm.
haven't had bad drafts. Their talent's been okay. Harrison Jr. is obviously
Yeah.
troubling based on how he's done and how Michael Wilson has pretty much outperformed him this year, which is just very troubling given how much of a hyped prospect he was.
Yep.
Cardinals are sitting here. It seems like Kyler was like, oh, you're going to start Brissett over me even when I'm healthy. I'm just going to tell you that I'm hurt and I'm out. They're going to have him on dead cap next
Yeah.
year. He's going to be one of the biggest chips from the offseason, perhaps the top quarterback chip moving around.
Yeah. I think so.
They have an interesting situation here where the defense has consistently underperformed despite bringing in top-tier talent.
Especially this year.
Yeah.
They brought in Josh Sweat. Couple other
Walter Nolan at defensive tackle. They bring in Connor's guy, Will Johnson from
Will
Michigan
Johnson,
at
Yeah.
corner.
But then they were one of the teams that didn't draft on offense at all. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yep.
And they also signed some free agents on defense, like veterans in their 30s, because they're like, okay, we're going to push. You know, we've been building our roster for a while. It's going to
Right.
push. And it just bottomed out. So
Yep.
I just don't see how you can keep a defensive guy.
Yeah, I agree. The wrench in the soup here is how do you hire a good head coaching candidate if you're sitting there as the Cardinals with the 7th pick? You're not going to get more Mendoza. You don't have the draft ammo. You're not going to get draft ammo from trading Kyler.
Yeah.
You have no quarterback. The rest of your offensive and defensive infrastructure is meh. How are you going to sell a real head coaching candidate to take that job?
Do you not think you could go from 7-1 with Kyler as the chip?
No.
No.
I
You
think-
really don't think so?
I think
No.
Kyler could get, because you have to trade the contract too. And maybe
Yeah,
they
the
can,
contract
yeah,
is
they
the big
can
thing.
figure out a way to offset the money
Yeah.
somehow. But
Right. I mean, he's got a $50 million dead cap hit versus you're picking up a guy who's going to be making 15 for the next 4
yeah.
years.
And when you
And,
draft a guy first overall, you're hoping he could become God.
right.
Whereas
Well, maybe Kyler Murray's.
But like when you
He'd
have a
have to
guy who's
grow.
played
Oh,
6 years
man.
in the league and has had a major injury, it's just like, well, he's already on a big contract and he's just Kyler Murray.
Yeah. You know, I think Kyler Murray would have some other things to say about that.
He would say he's God.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
He'd
it though. So
It's a quadrinity now.
They are perhaps the team that can go the most different directions this offseason
Yeah.
in terms of keeping Kyler, keeping Gannon. If they hire offensive defensive guy, if they go offense defense in the
I think
draft,
they just take the best candidate they can get either side. Like,
yeah.
if they somehow brought in Jesse Minter or Chris Shula
Let's
or
Vance
Brian
Joseph.
Flores,
run
Vance
through
Joseph,
the defensive coordinators
Yeah.
right
Yep.
now.
like it.
Robert Saleh from the 49ers, who, as
I'd
Boo.
love him on the Cardinals.
I agree, especially his familiarity with Shanahan and that whole system. It feels like he would make sense in the NFC West.
True.
Maybe that's not
I mean,
a real
that's
thing.
That's a hard division to be in no matter what.
Yeah.
That's another reason why you wouldn't want to coach
Right.
there.
McDonald, Shanahan, McVay.
Yeah.
Just fucking loaded.
3 top 8, top 10
Stafford, Darnold,
coaches.
Purdy. Like, it's just this unbelievable division that you have to step into. So this job is really tough. Salah, who, despite the Niners losing 7 of their top 10 assets on defense, has just kept the ship together. I mean,
Yeah.
Philip Rivers tore him apart, but
Yeah.
when you have that little...
I think that would be a big difference between the Niners and the Cardinals is the give a shit factor. Like Salah
Yeah.
always has such a high, especially with his defense. I mean, offense is hard, but defense you can be terrible and you can all like, hey, we're gonna go batter their faces in, even if you're terrible at football.
which his defenses always have.
Yep.
And
And the Cardinals don't this year.
Right. The Jets defense has a great track record. As soon as Salah left, they fell off the cliff statistically. And they were
Totally.
actually pretty solid. Their offense was just bad. And once they fired Salah, everything just fell off.
Yep.
Um,
And I think like you could say, oh, he messed up the offense with the Jets. Small sample size. Maybe he is bad at it, but is he terrible at finding an offensive coordinator? Probably not. He's normal enough. He's had experience with Shanahan. He knows what it looks like, what traits a guy needs to have.
perhaps the most qualified candidate with the most off the field issues, Brian Flores.
Oh, yeah.
Who has consistently risen the floor of this Vikings defense to make it a top 10 unit year after year. Has all these complex schemes things going on for him. Is a tough dude. He's ripped, which helps as a head coach. I feel like
Oh,
it helps to
yeah.
be ripped, obviously.
So hot.
But he's actively suing the Dolphins for racial discrimination. There is definitely a
Yeah.
boys club, a rich boys club of the owners in this situation. All 32 of those guys get together every year and they talk individually at the owners meetings, and there is a message about how much you want to consider hiring Brian Flores, right? They're going to talk about that, and when you're actively
Yeah.
suing another one of the owners, it is a very big conflict to bring that guy in as your head coach.
I love Flores. I don't know, like to me, if you're an owner with less of an ego, and I don't know what specifically happened. I think it was like hiring practices, and they had someone that was specified, like they knew what candidate they wanted. I think he was angry that they didn't give him a real shot. Is kind of the story, but mainly I just think that he's had such a good track record. They play so hard. They vary their scheme. They like game to game. They know how to throw off different offenses. Like it's so hard to get any coach that can raise your floor and your ceiling and your give a shit level.
Yeah.
And there's not a ton of those coaches. And even if he's on defense, not offense, like, man, I just don't care that who he's suing. He's not suing the Arizona Cardinals or
Right.
what, he's not suing you. Like, bring him in and give him a chance. Because
If
now
it's-
he's older too. He has more experience.
If it's just on the field, Flores is by far the most qualified candidate.
Yeah.
Where does the defense rank this year?
The Vikings defense, I just looked at it. I know they're top 7,
I'd say, yeah, it's at least top 8.
which is crazy because their offense just keeps giving them opportunities to fail. They keep
Shout out
giving the
9.
ball in bed.
Shout out 9.
Number 4,
Love that.
offense EPA per play.
Mm-hmm.
With
And
not,
I think they started slow, so that's been like
yeah,
second half really starting to clamp down.
when the games don't matter and when McCarthy's not giving them any opportunities. And
True.
It's just, like they keep getting the ball in bad field position.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It'd be
impressive.
easy to give up.
Yeah.
Totally. Mentor.
I go on Packers Reddit once in a while.
Oh yeah.
And it was a thing there. It was a joke for a while. They would talk about it was like fake negative stories about Jeff Halfley, and it would be a
Yes,
story
I
about
love
I ran
those.
into Jeff Halfley at the grocery store today. He called my wife a bitch to her face and then dumped his fucking meatloaf in my grocery cart. I really don't like this guy, and I definitely don't think that he should be the defensive coordinator here any longer. I love Jeff Halfley. The difference between him and Joe Barry is so stark, and
Mhm.
I fucking hated Barry because his scheme was so stale. We would just run the same shit, cover 3, drop into zone over and over again. There was no creativity. Hafley came in right away. There's been creativity. He's been varying things. He knows how to mix up schemes. I love when they do the thing that all the good DCs do where they bring 7 guys up to the line of scrimmage. You don't know who's
Cover
blitzing.
0.
I've loved him so far.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All the great DCs right now are mixing in like a simulated pressure where the corner and the safety and 2 defensive linemen are rushing, and the 2 defensive linemen are dropping back and being like they're covering like intermediate hot routes. Like typically, if a quarterback feels like there's a blitz, they look to their hot routes. So you use your defensive lineman to cover those quick. And obviously, you can't do that all game. But if you do it 1 out of every 10 dropbacks, and Hafley's a master of doing that. Same as Flores. Same as Minter, what we'll get to.
Hit on Minter.
So yeah, Minter, he's part of the same Mike McDonald, Harbaugh, Michigan Ravens pipeline,
Chargers 7th in EPA per play this year in defense.
and they don't have a lot of
Nothing.
high level players where it's like, oh, that guy's
Yeah.
dominant. A lot of the guys that are playing well are people where you didn't know about them until Minter came in and
Yep.
Harbaugh and set the floor. They got them playing better.
The only blue chip talent is Derwin James, and then close to is Khalil Mack, but he's
Yeah.
34.
Yeah, they have Dion Henley. He's like a
True.
fringe All-Pro linebacker. That
True.
I think he was a later round pick. I'm not sure when his rookie year was, but he started to play a lot better with the Chargers.
He's a guy.
And you just see another thing: high effort, high creativity. They're always throwing you off, and they're just so sound. Like I believe the way that they play zone and just know exactly when a guy's no longer my responsibility, he's shifting towards you, or because when you play zone, there's so many extra rules. It's not just cover this area. It's like if a certain amount of guys do this, then you have this responsibility, and they're coached so well, and they don't have many holes there. So even like that team is just Justin Herbert in the defense, and it still is. They're winning a lot of games.
Let's circle back to the Cardinals. Grogan,
I gotta get water.
Yeah. Grogan, if you're the Cardinals, would you lean more towards an offensive guy or a defensive guy? Let's assume that they let Kyler walk or they trade him for some sort of asset, not much. Maybe they get back a 6. They might have to give up draft picks in order to get rid of his contract. And let's say they bring in Mac Jones. They sign Mac Jones. If you're the owner of the Cardinals and you got to make a decision, or the GM, would you lean offense or defense?
I mean, obviously, it's dependent on who's available.
Yeah.
I think based on just the candidates that we're seeing available, the best candidate is probably going to be a defensive-minded head coach.
Yes.
But say you're able to get an offensive-minded head coach. I think there's 3 or 4 of them this year that I think deserve a shot. I would definitely take one of them.
It does seem like the upside is so much higher. I mean,
Mhm.
the sample size it's tough to say because every head coaching situation is unique, but the upside of having a great offensive mind, those just end up being the guys who are the most valuable coaches in the NFL consistently.
Oh, dude, look at Detroit. Look at Detroit this year. That is a catastrophic fall off.
Before we get to the end of the episode, I do want to touch on how awesome this previous head coaching class was,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just how incredible this has been. We'll touch on that at the
And
end.
so that's why this conversation is so important. I feel like head coach almost matters more than quarterback nowadays. You can't have a big Super Bowl run with like a guy that isn't good. I don't know. Maybe you could disprove that pretty quick. It just feels like it's equally as important where it used to not be.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to. This is gonna be hard because we only have 3 people, but I want to do a draft where
Oh yeah.
you can draft head coaches at the same time as you can draft players
Mm-hmm.
of like all 32
I love
teams.
that idea.
Because that's obviously the perfect way to like frame how much coaches are absolutely worth. Just
Yeah.
quick. Let's say you're all 30 teams. I wanted to do-
No. It's an episode. I want
right.
to do an episode.
You're right.
We could be 32 teams.
Sorry, I'm just.
We could give each of us 10 teams.
Let's keep chugging through teams here. Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, 2-time Coach of the Year winner. They are going to be sitting here with probably not enough draft capital to take a real quarterback, unless they want to trade back. Their defense has been awesome under, what's his name? Jeff Schwartz. Jim Schwartz, 3rd in DEPA per play this year on defense. Always a great unit. They have prime Myles Garrett sitting on their roster and a great infrastructure around him. Offensively, they have been atrocious with Shadur. The third-round pick spent on Dylan Gabriel, as everyone predicted, was a complete disaster from the outside. He was
Yeah.
considered a consensus sixth-rounder. They are 31st in EPA per play this year on offense.
And their O-line's bottom 3, or bottom 5 at least. I don't know.
They're a big candidate to take a guy like Spencer Fano in the top 10 this year. They have this glaring O-line need,
Totally.
glaring wide receiver need. Seems pretty obvious they're going to go offense. Let's keep touching on some of these defensive coordinator potential guys as we'll get through this list.
Actually, I do want to say something about
Yeah.
the Browns. I think for a team that performed as bad as the Cleveland Browns did, I don't think Stefanski got enough hate as he should have.
Interesting.
I feel like I haven't been hearing the buzz about Stefanski.
That's because everyone I
He's
know loves
terrible.
him still.
Yeah.
I don't-
So me and Matt are dialed into nerd football
Nerd
bullshit.
football
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's just everyone talks about how Stefanski is squeezing blood out of a stone and how they have no assets there to build a real team around, no receiving talent, no quarterback, no offensive line, and he's just generating something out of nothing
Because of the Watson trade.
because of the Watson trade, which isn't his fault. But Stefanski in his last few years in his track record now, like Browns fans, I know, like whatever social media, whether that actually means anything, Browns fans do not like Stefanski and they want him gone because his track record the past few years sucks. At least
Yeah.
winning games wise,
Yeah.
which is hard to argue with. So I think he's an interesting one. I tell you for a fact, if he got fired, he would be the number one available head coach.
Oh,
in the
really?
league
I'd
right away.
hire him right away.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
interesting.
If you gave him an extra couple first-round picks and all the cap that they gave to Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
and they added that to the teams they've been
They just
coaching,
kept Baker.
they kept Baker, or if they just brought in like the Joe Schmo free agent, like Mac Jones type people over the past 3 years. I don't know, like
Yeah.
if they try to get the Sam Darnold or the Geno Smith type people.
Even like Daniel, just like
The
competent Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously those are the success stories, and it's easy to say that now. I just think you've seen enough with Stefanski. And I'm not, maybe they should. My main thought about this is if the locker room still likes Stefanski, then you should keep him because he's a good coach. But if the locker room is like, man, we're sick of this, we're sick of losing, then it's probably not worth it.
Let's keep chugging away through teams here. Do we want to talk the Dolphins with Mike McDaniel?
We could cover it quick.
Quick gut test. I would keep McDaniel.
Definitely keep McDaniel. Definitely.
It's what he's doing with his roster is unbelievable.
Yep.
Tua is atrocious.
And they're
atrocious.
and they're fighting hard with no reason to play.
Yeah.
Yep. And obviously his personality, in terms of a gut test from a fan, is just immediately like, okay, that guy's dumb.
That
This
guy's
guy fucking
homo.
sucks. He's soft. But the guys play hard for him. They've overachieved at every level. He keeps
Yep.
bringing in competent DCs. Their run game is good despite a fucking terrible offensive
Yeah.
line.
I think they always get like those A+ like team ratings where the players have to rank how good
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the organization is to play for. And
Yep.
they're like, yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
This guy, he's
So-
the best.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks that they gave Tua that contract. I would love to have seen a scenario where they didn't have to have dead money and stuff with Tua, but
That's a great conversation in the future.
you
Is
should keep him.
talking about extending, at least a segment, talking about extending quarterbacks who you know don't have top 10 talent,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the implications of that.
hmm
As we keep going down here,
Let's just cover more. Like, Commanders. I have it are 7th in the draft order. I think it probably makes sense to keep Dan Quinn because it would just be so weird to fire him.
after an NFC championship the year before.
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
even though I don't think he's a guy, he's one of the coaches that makes a real difference. Maybe he's just fine enough, and you have to just give him another year.
Yeah, I don't think that in his performance review, I think there were so many alibis he had, so many, I guess, excuses for the outcome.
Yeah.
I think that you'd have to give him another
And
year.
then one good year.
Yeah.
At number 8 is the Saints. The Saints have they were the bottom in terms of win projection this year. Tyler Shuck's looking great. Kellen Moore's offense is looking smart. Brandon Staley, their defense has been like top 10 the last
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah,
So-
Chase Young.
Chase Young's been awesome.
Chase
Going
Young's
on.
been fighting
Been
back.
awesome.
Heck yeah,
Saints
man.
are completely on the
I'd
up and
love
up.
to see it.
I had zero hope for the Saints. Like
Me neither.
if we would have put them as like
They were damn near last in our GM draft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
Yeah.
just like a month ago.
real close. Yeah, because they've got all this cap pushed out, right? They got all these contracts pushed out in the future.
It still sucks to have that. I guess that's the thing. In that draft, it would be you have to start over. You don't know what coach you have.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
McShay did a redraft the 2026 draft. McShay is one of the most respected NFL minds.
Yep.
Keep in mind he was a Shuck guy before the draft, through
Okay.
and through.
Well, he was a Shuck guy because he was hearing the buzz about it.
He knows Shuck personally, knows the
Yeah.
family, likes the guy. Went to the Manning Passing Academy. He's the first active NFL player to go to the Manning Passing Academy.
Oh,
McShay's a
really?
big Passing Academy guy. He took Shuck first overall in the redraft.
Yeah.
Take that for what it is. Part of that is post take, liking the guy before the draft and being like, "See, you fucking dumbasses, he's offensive rookie of the year. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? I'm
Yeah.
so smart." But like, that matters to me.
Yeah.
Someone that smart is believing that.
He would. I mean, if you see good quarterback play from a rookie, that's top 10 pick every time. So whether you take
True.
number 1
Yeah.
overall or
So
number
true.
5, and
Yeah.
On defense, the Saints are 10th in EPA per play this year, which is
that's
incredible.
crazy. They're all old.
They
Mhm.
did pay and move contracts in the future to get Justin Reed, who's a really solid safety from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Chase Young and Brandon
Chase Young.
Graham and what is that? What is their linebacker's name? Demario Davis. I don't know. Something
And
like that.
a lot of people thought that they reached on their first round tackle from Texas, Calvin Banks. Apparently, Banks's film
Yeah.
he's been better than what his draft was picked
Incredible.
at.
Yeah.
He's been
Yep.
awesome this year.
Yep.
Apparently,
think
even
he's-
close with Fashanu
Yep.
from the Jets.
Membu.
I was getting mixed up. Mambo. Yeah.
But I think even Will Campbell, people are like, yeah, it may be a little bit worse than what Calvin Banks has looked like.
Right. I think Matt, you're on the right track. Let's just keep going through the teams here. I got a little bit ahead of our
Yeah,
ahead of our
Chiefs, no,
skis.
just read it out.
no.
Bengals, I want to talk about the Bengals though.
So my take on the Bengals is I think they make perfect sense for a DC hire
Totally.
because this job just coming in, the floor on offense is set. I think you can put any average OC, and their ability to get a good OC is going to be easy. It's very easy to sell Jamar
Oh,
Chase, Higgins,
yeah.
and Burrow. Like you're going to get any OC you want. If he gets hired away, you can hire a great one again.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Getting a DC there to me makes so much sense in terms of just raising their floor and trying
Totally.
to keep something going there defensively.
Sala to the Bengals. Come on. I can see it now.
I like that.
I could see it. The exact opposite situation with the Jets where like the offense is in no man's land. The offense is like 85% there.
So you can't tell me you
It's
can't,
Sal's just like, I believe in you guys. Look, they're doing their thing.
That would-
but I believe in you guys.
I don't even care. Year 1, that's all I would need from him.
you can't tell me that the Bengals over under for wins next year wouldn't be higher if they hired Robert Saleh instead of Zach Taylor. I
Oh,
think
of
their
course.
over under for wins would
Yeah.
be one and a half higher.
I definitely think so.
Who'd they take in the first round?
This year
Yeah.
they took
Shamar Stewart.
nice done.
Yep,
Nicely done.
yep. I
Texas A&M
remember it.
edge.
And he's looked terrible.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Yeah.
think he's
I think,
had.
I think his
that much
PFF
reps.
great. I think he's had enough. I think his PFF was really bad.
Yeah.
He had no production in college, and he has had no
And
production
Some
in
of
the
my
NFL.
film guys have said the same thing.
Yeah. Trey Hendrickson's probably out. But to me, doesn't that just make sense, the Bengals to go DC and then just like, why do you have to have Zach Taylor? Like, what is Zach Taylor offering you in terms of upside? Like-
I think it's like I see the point of not wanting to fire him because you had a good offense for this long, but you just have to it hasn't worked. Your defense has been so bad. Maybe Zach Taylor's good, but just risk it. Risk it to try something else.
If your offense doesn't work with Joe Burrow, Higgins, and Chase,
Yep.
so be it. You just have to be like, whatever.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a team that no one seemed inspired to play for at least this
Years.
past year.
I think so.
Yeah. So that was one of my favorite ones in terms of finding any competent or
Yeah.
high level DC. Because if that job opening comes open, it's immediately the number one available job.
I think so. Yeah,
Has to be.
access to an elite quarterback. Only thing is they don't have a lot of money. They don't spend a lot of money. But
Right.
I don't think that's a huge deal.
Bucks, which I think is
You want to go to technically the Rams have the Falcons pick, but do you want to go Falcons?
yeah, we can talk Falcons.
Let's see.
Raheem Morris.
Raheem Morris. I was picturing his face, but I couldn't think of his name right away.
He's a good looking black man.
Yeah. Well, I think he became a CEO type coach where he doesn't call either side. He has a background in defense, but Jeff Ulbrich is calling defense. Yeah, I think you just give him another year. It's been fine. You hope for more this year. Their defense has shown some flash, and their offense hasn't quite done what you want it to. Do I have hope that you're not going to fire him next year? No, I think you'll probably end up firing him next year.
Yeah.
But that's partly because I just don't think Penix is that crazy good. And then, but I don't think resetting after this year would be stupid because it's just like, I don't know. If you have a guy with a chance, I don't think it's not. I think I like him more than Matt Eberflus. When the Bears gave Matt Eberflus a third year, it seemed like he had no pizzazz. I think Morris has got a little pizzazz. So
He's got a little juice to his caboose.
Mhm.
I am in agreement that I would love to see this young defense have another year,
Yep.
see what he can do in the offseason. The only problem is Penix isn't the guy, and Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
is Kirk Cousins.
I think I
guess.
agree with you that Penix isn't the guy, but like from a zoomed out, we are a football organization standpoint, their answer is we don't know if Penix is the guy.
They have to ride it out. You
They
can't
have
spend a pick
Exactly,
that
yeah.
high.
And so that's kind of where I'm like, I don't want to be on that train.
Yeah.
I agree.
I wouldn't want my career to to be weighted on Michael Penix.
Yeah, but I
performing
think if
well.
you're the Falcons, you give Penix and Raheem one more year, and then because Penix has only played like 16 games or something.
It's pretty on
Yeah.
par for his college career. He just gets hurt every year.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about the ACL. I totally
It's
forgot.
like his
I just
fucking
don't think
fourth
about
knee
the
surgery. He
Falcons.
played fucking 6 years in
Yeah.
college.
So you give him both one more year. He comes back late. If he doesn't wow you, then you potentially hire a new coach, and then let them decide what to do with quarterback, which is probably change it out.
Buccaneers.
You got to dump him.
Caught him.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic for keeping.
Well, do you remember?
Their
Do you guys
head
remember the
coach.
press conference like 2-3 weeks ago or whatever when he was they asked like what went wrong, and he was like, no one on this effing team wants to win. Like I'm telling them, I'm giving them the
Yeah.
recipe, and they can't fucking do it.
I'm telling them to win, but they won't win for me.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
I haven't. No.
No, he essentially just like puts it all on the. It's like it's on the players. Like as coaches, we can only
Yeah.
do so much.
They
This
had a
isn't
fourth
our
quarter
fault.
collapse.
It's
I
a bad
remember.
look.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles has been very mid. Obviously, their defense has been pretty shitty, and they've had this incredible collapse down the stretch here. After winning a bunch of one-score games to start the year, I believe they've dropped their last 7 of their last 8, and they could go and beat the Panthers here this week. And if the Falcons win, still miss the playoffs.
Yeah, I think Todd Bowles was a Dave Canales, Liam Cohen merchant, but he's just not enough as a head overarching guy and not enough on defense. Like bring in any other defensive candidates we talked about. Like they don't even need to change what side of the ball
Mhm.
is, and I think they're going to be in a better off situation.
Yeah.
Buccaneers perfectly league average in defense and a little bit below league average in offense this year.
I think
Yeah.
they can make it to the playoffs and win one playoff game, and I am still in the camp of
Yeah,
Bowles needs to be fired.
even at that situation, they beat the Rams or the Niners or the Seahawks.
Maybe.
I'd be interested to see. Then it's harder.
Yeah.
But I get you.
Just I want to run through some candidates. A few more candidates on DCs. Just touch on them quick, guys, that I
Yeah.
think deserve to be brought up. Number one, which no one is talking about, Anthony Campanile,
Yeah.
the guy hired as the Jags DC this past offseason. Connor, guess where the Jags rate in defensive EPA per play this year?
I'm assuming that's not going to be on par with my GM take from a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had the Jags at like 30, and I'm assuming that their EPA per play is pretty close to 1.
Their defense this year, after being atrocious last year and with Travis Hunter hurt all season, is 5th in the NFL.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense to
I
me
know.
given the talent they have on defense. And no one's talking about him. First year guy, if he comes in and makes, I mean, maybe that's just, I guess Liam Cohen, can he affect defense like that? It's been fascinating to me how much their defense has been able to turn around despite having a tough schedule and like being able to pull this together from basically nothing. I don't think anyone's talking about Anthony Campanile.
Yeah. I think it's hard. So he came from the Packers last year. I forget what exactly his role was, but
It's like a
So
linebackers coach or something.
he plays a scheme very similar to Halfley. So I think both of them are good candidates. It'd be surprising to see if he went first before Halfley because Halfley's done it for 2 years now. He's
Yeah.
only done it for this one.
And Halfley has head coaching experience at Boston College.
True, but I think he's a good candidate, and if he keeps stuff like this up, like another thing they do a ton of cover zero simulated pressures, mix it up, play really sound defense. They teach it well. They know how to handle zones, pass off. Like every player knows their responsibility and like what to do, what not to do.
Last one is Vance Joseph from the Broncos.
Yep.
Broncos has been putting together a great defense for years now.
I wouldn't be surprised
I
if
think
he
that-
gets a spot.
Offense, defense aside, I think he is my number one, the coaching candidate. I think he.
Vance Joseph.
I don't see anyone else deserving it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's consistently put together great units. The Broncos obviously have a lot of talent on defense, but before Sean Payton got there, if you remember, what was that 2 years ago, they gave up 70 points to the Dolphins, and all of a sudden they're in the past.
That
2
was
years,
Sean
they've been-
Payton.
Mhm.
That was his first year.
I don't know if Vance Joseph was there at that point, but I guess just 2 or 3 years ago already they've been able to turn around that defense that was bottom 5 in the league in efficiency.
Uh-huh. Even the back half of that season, they were making a lot of jumps.
Yeah,
That'd be a fun documentary. Like what happened that year? Because they were terrible and then
And
slowly got better. and,
their
like,
O line too was also ranked as one of the 5 worst in the NFL that year, and all of a sudden they had the
Interesting.
best O line in the NFL. Coaching, who knows? So if you're the Buccaneers, you're sitting there. One question I want to touch on: how do you feel about Baker? His contract isn't massive. Baker is Grogan's guy. I am personally not a Baker guy, but I don't know what your options are next offseason. And if you do want to move on, you probably want to go with a young guy.
I'm a Baker guy enough, assuming you don't have to pay him more than what he's making now.
Would you feel comfortable having Baker be your franchise guy for the next 3 years?
Yes. More
I don't. Yeah.
more than restarting.
Yeah.
It's better than the QB wilderness
Fair.
to me.
I
Like Kyler Murray is
Yeah.
the top, he's not a free agent, but potential guy people talk about.
Yeah.
I'd take him at the same amount as I'd take Kyler Murray.
I'd probably take Baker over Kyler.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
well, I want to know in your mind who is comparable to Baker Mayfield.
Where is that quarterback rankings
Yeah.
wise?
Yep.
All right, let's work through this.
Actually, no. Players you would rather have for the next 3 years than Baker. Not like this next year. Not. You've had to commit to a guy for 3 years.
I'd rather have Goff. I'd rather have Purdy. I'd rather have Caleb Williams. I'd rather
I'm
have
pulling up some rankings.
Darnold. I'd rather have Stroud. I'd rather have Lamar, Josh Allen, obviously.
You know?
Matt, help me out here.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but
In the meantime,
Oh,
while it
there we
gets
go.
there,
just kidding.
Connor, what's your lean offensive versus defensive hire for the Bucks?
I'd want to go offense still.
I get what you're saying, but who are you gonna hire? When you have Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson, then it's all exciting. But like,
Kubiak has done pretty well. I don't-
Yeah.
that's true.
But then again,
if you can get
keep-
Kubiak,
Again, that's the problem with me leading offenses because it's Kubiak and who else? Yeah, Joe Brady, Matt Nagy, but Matt doesn't like Matt Nagy. And that is about it.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith maybe, but even at that. So yeah, the best candidates right now are defensive coordinators, and I think that has to do with the fact that the league is turning into an offensive coordinator head coaching.
yeah, it's
Yep.
been picked clean the past 3-4 years
I
for
also
offense.
I think like the percentage of teams in the NFL that are good are teams that usually have an elite offense and a shitty defense, aka the 49ers, compared to a team like the Browns with a terrible offense and a great defense. It feels like it's much more achievable to have a great team if you have a great offense and a shitty defense. Matt, hit me with some quarterbacks in the Baker range.
Okay, I'm gonna give some specifics. So, I like Steven Ruiz from the Ringer. He does QB rankings every
Me too. Love him.
4 or 6 weeks. So this is before the past 5 weeks. So this is further back. At that point, he had Baker Mayfield at 12 with it on his scale a number of 86, a QB grade of 86. But then if you go down from 12 all the way to 19, he has Kyler Murray with a score of 84.3. So when you're at 86 to 80, it's all a very tight range in there.
Yeah.
So you have Kyler, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, C.J. Stroud. What are the guys in that gap? To
So
me, Baker, because he's just looked worse and worse and worse this season, you take it from above that whole list, and it's not like you're downgrading who he is that much, but in terms of ordering, I'd put him below that whole list.
Can we go through that list quick? I'll tell you yes or no if I would have Baker.
Okay.
I want to do this with you.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. C.J. Stroud.
Yes.
Who are you'd rather have Baker?
I'd rather have Stroud.
Okay. You'd rather have Stroud, yes.
I'll say the
gotcha.
name.
Jalen Hurts.
Baker.
Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
I'd rather have Jalen
I'd
Hurts
rather
as
have
well.
Jalen Hurts.
Baker 1,000%.
Like with a good when they had,
I have
they
no
can be
belief in
so
Hurts.
elite.
That was wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, me neither.
Trevor Lawrence,
No.
Trevor, obviously.
Daniel Jones.
No.
No.
I'll take Baker.
I keep getting messed up with this system. Okay, yeah, I think it's hard because he played worse and then got injured. Like you can't really compare him because he just tore his Achilles, so it'll be years before he's alive again.
Also,
But it's a small sample size. I wouldn't do it.
of
Yeah.
note, Connor would take Baker over Trevor.
Yes.
Oh, you said that?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yes.
you're done.
Of note.
No.
Well, and that's the hard thing is like Trevor has Liam Cohen probably for the next
Yeah.
5 years, so he's gonna look amazing. He's gonna
Yeah.
keep getting better.
Exactly.
But if Liam Cohen became the head coach of the Buccaneers, it'd be the exact opposite. We'd be saying Baker,
Yeah. Think about that.
he's really good.
He's a dog.
Okay, let's keep going.
Like if you gave Todd Bowles to the Jaguars right now, it'd still be like Trevor is fake.
Yeah.
Trevor
Yeah.
sucks. Okay, Caleb Williams,
Yes.
I'd say Caleb.
Jaden Daniels,
Yes.
Kyler Murray.
No.
I'd take Baker over Kyler.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Baker.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, and then he has Brock Purdy down here, but
Oh, come on.
Brock Purdy looked kind of injured at the beginning of the year. Looked
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Purdy,
The
obviously.
past 6 weeks, he's been on
Awesome,
fire.
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but he hasn't been able to update the list. So
Right.
Do you take Purdy?
Yep.
Otherwise, yeah, you don't take Geno, you don't take Tua, you don't take Bo Nix.
So, where does that put him, like, general range wise?
That puts him at, depending on your yeses
Yeah.
and nos, it'd be like 17, 18.
I think Baker's like the 18th best quarterback in the NFL.
On a scale of taking it for the next 3 years,
Yeah. I think that's right where it belongs.
I'd put him around like more like that 12 to 15. But
I don't think that's unreasonable.
okay.
yeah.
As long as we can agree on that. It's
He
not
was-
like it's not
he
like I'm
was-
saying he's the best quarterback in the world, but I'm
No,
not going to sit
that's-
here and let people slander Baker Mayfield.
That's
talking
not
about he doesn't deserve to be on a team.
Yeah, he was at 12, and then their offense started to fall apart. And when they had good OCs, he looked great. And when they has not proven OC, it's been worse.
How do we even
Let's-
get on that Baker?
I don't know.
tangent?
Miles freaked it up.
Let's touch on the Baltimore Ravens, who were my Super Bowl pick before the year. I thought they had the best rounded defense in the NFL. I was
Yeah.
probably overly indexed on their performance with Mike McDonald. It seems like post McDonald, they really just haven't been able to scheme up their way to being a great
Even
defense.
then, they looked good at the end of the year with Zach Orr last year.
But their defense has been underwhelming this year. Their offense, even with Lamar healthy, has been super underwhelming. Henry was really not that good up until the Packers game where he went nuclear. If you're the Ravens, you've had Harbaugh for 20 fucking years, which is a rarity in the NFL nowadays. Let me pose one question to you quick. I want to tie in the Ravens and the Steelers.
Ask it to Connor. I'm biased.
Would you rather have Mike Tomlin or John Harbaugh as the head coach of the Ravens for the next 3 years?
The head coach of the Ravens.
The Ravens specifically.
Is this a world where you have to change the coach, or like? Because having continuity is good, you know.
True. Yeah.
Like you're
that's
you'd never switch to Tomlin, but like
maybe that's a bad question.
it'd be like a world where they like you just got to keep the team with Lamar.
You keep
Maybe.
the team with Lamar, or you say,
And with Lamar and an average roster.
I actually think it'd be better to switch things up.
Yeah. What do you think, Connor?
I'm biased towards Tomlin. I like Tomlin as a coach.
Me too.
So I don't know. It's the same thing with Baker. It's like I know that I'm gonna bump Baker up a couple notches just because he's the dog. He's him for
Yeah.
me. And Tomlin is that type of coach where I'm going to have bias towards his capabilities because I like his style.
The Ravens is another situation like the Bengals, except kind of souped up, where if that job becomes available, it's immediately the most sought after job in the NFL, and it's not even close. Matt, give me your Ravens thoughts.
I just think there's no way he gets fired.
No,
Like maybe when he talks, he doesn't have the juice because he's not like a swaggy, consistent, hard-nosed black guy. And I think he is kind of boring. But him identifying Mike McDonald and like finding Todd Monken, and like he had some good years with the guy, Greg Roman.
Yeah,
Like I just think his ability to find these guys to call offense and defense for him has been elite. And maybe he got lucky with Lamar. Maybe you have to give him credit for making that pick. but like Tomlin has been so consistent and hard nosed, but he has not helped raise their ceiling in a long time.
Right. They haven't won a playoff game in
Yeah.
forever.
Well, it's weird that you guys brought that up because for the fraud watch today, I was thinking of teams that there's hype around getting rid of the head coach that we think is BS.
Yeah. That's a good
And
one.
I was going to choose the Ravens. I was going to choose Jim Harbaugh. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
Yeah, I think you're right. Bunch of injuries this year. That leads us into the Steelers. I think this is even more atrocious than talking about Harbaugh getting fired. But
Yeah.
But when you get that used to something, just like when I hear my stupid ass, just dumb as hell Packers fans, friends talking about firing LaFleur and benching Rodgers for Willis.
They should bench They should bench Rodgers for Willis.
They should bench Rodgers for Willis.
Yeah.
Benching Love for Willis. There's really not any logical case to getting rid of Tomlin besides just trying to reset the culture or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Matt, what do you think?
I think that's another thing where it's like, what are the younger? Like, yeah, you can't ask T.J. Watt because he's been there too long. But like, what do the younger guys in the locker room think? Like, is it just, do they feel like he's a great coach and we just need to figure out quarterback, or do they feel like we're stuck here? We feel stuck. It's just what's their quarterback plan in the next 2 years?
I don't know. I think I know what you're saying.
I think most likely you're going to keep him no matter what, but I would open the door for like maybe just mix it up.
So I always had the feeling that this whole Rodgers experiment was not just the culmination of Rodgers' career, like him proving that he can do it one last time.
Yeah.
It also felt like it was Tomlin's as well, in a sense.
I
where
can
it's like,
make a deep playoff run again or something.
and that's it. And then both of them ride out on the white horses into the sunset.
I think that it's the classic grass is greener scenario. And if you're the Steelers hiring, what are you going to sell as the big pros to being the next Steelers head coach? Like, what are you have to follow in the footsteps of one of the greatest coaches of all time who hasn't had a losing season in 20 years.
Yeah.
And you have to come
Agreed.
in with no quarterback situation, shitty offensive line, one weapon in Metcalf who's older, and a defense that's aging and really hasn't been that good.
Yeah.
Like, what are you selling?
Yeah. I think like the Steelers is like they miss on Kenny Pickett, but if they would have like picked Tyler Shuck in this past year, and then you'd be ecstatic about Tomlin going forward. It's just
True.
When you have no quarterback, it's just hard, but agreed, you got to keep him.
Tomlin and Harbaugh are both guys just like our guy Kevin Stefanski, where if they became available, obviously they'd be the top head coaching candidate available in the whole cycle.
Agreed.
Do we want to? Let's see what else we got here for teams like that.
We're at about 108 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's any team where it'd be even relevant.
What was
Maybe the Bills head coach. People sometimes talk about. Can't think of his name right now. I can picture his white beard.
9/11?
Remember that? Do you remember that 9/11 joke that he
I know
had?
9/11.
You don't know that?
No,
Hold on, Matt.
I was like, that is like
Sean McDermott.
Sean
I
McDermott.
was like,
That's
I
a
know it.
strange poll that you just.
Matt, talk about the Bills
Yeah.
opening for a minute here.
Okay. They're gonna keep him. He's a good head coach. Well, that's another situation. Like, is he a good head coach, or does he or is he an average coach with Josh Allen? I don't think finding the answer to that question isn't that important as long as you keep making the playoffs and having a chance to win your division. So they'll keep him, and I think they'll be fine. But their defense, he was a defensive background. It was good for a long time. This is the first year where it's been a little more suspect. Haven't had the guys to refill what they were 5 years ago, and they just keep slowly dwindling. And then Ed Oliver was out for the season. He's one of their better guys. But I think you probably keep him. But I do understand why some people are angry.
Yeah. Where would you rank the Steelers' head coaching position?
In terms of like if it became an
If it
opening,
became open.
I'd put it pretty dang low. What do they have that is like young and super exciting? They have a decent O-line
Ohio
right now.
State quarterback they drafted, whatever his name is.
Do they have Will Howard?
Will Howard. Will Howard.
Yeah.
Yep, 6th rounder.
Yeah.
Basically, Sean McDermott made a anecdote to the team in 2019 during a meeting talking about teamwork and how to achieve a plan, and cited the 9/11 hijackers as a group that optimized teamwork and came together to achieve a goal. And dudes in the locker room are looking around each other like, "What the fuck?" And it didn't come out until like 2 years later. Of course, they're on a losing streak, and the story came out of like basically a hit
someone
piece.
just keep it in the back pocket.
Yeah, basically when someone pissed you off. Like,
yeah.
that's
the
something came out.
owner's like, okay, I got this covered. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Do you want to know another group of guys that came together in a high stress scenario to unify as one people to accomplish a goal that no one thought was possible?
Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
Putin and his boys. Let's circle back here to this year's head coaching hires, which could be one of the best head coaching classes ever. That's a thing, but Ben Johnson to the Bears, which looks like, probably the best head coaching hire since I don't know when.
I don't think you need to put him above Mike Vrabel or Liam Cohen, but I think I think it's pretty obvious that he's going to be a good head coach for a while.
Yeah.
You would definitely draft Ben Johnson first out of coaches you'd want to have for the next 10 years out of those three. No
Yeah,
question.
true.
Well-
I guess if you gave Ben Johnson and you put him with the Drake May, then maybe he'd look better. Than
Oh, my
Mike
God.
Vrabel.
Well, I have to ask the Bears expert, what significantly changed on that team outside of the head coach between last year and this year?
Outside of the head coach,
Yep.
we brought in Grady Jarrett and Dio Adangbo on the defensive line. They have played slightly below average, both of them. We brought in 3 offensive linemen in Joe Tooney, Hall of Famer, Drew Dahlman, the highest paid center in free agency, and Jonah Jackson, traded from the Rams. But all it took to get Jonah Jackson was a 6th-round pick, and Joe Tooney was a 4th-round pick, because they're both – Jackson had some bad play. Tooney was getting older. So, I mean, there were some assets thrown around. Like, we're finally, maxing out our cap, whereas under Eberflus it was still building, but not that much change. Our rookie class, but I just feel like all the players on offense that got brought in, if you gave those to just a random OC under Matt Eberflus, it'd be like, yeah, they're okay. They're fine NFL players, but when you have a scheme and a concept that just everyone knows what they need to do and they know how it works, and they know that if I do my job, then we're going to score points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think everything's going so well.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that it's been beautiful to watch the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to go better on defense. I'm not putting Dennis Allen on fraud watch, but it's we have halfway decent enough players that you'd expect to maybe, if you're a proven DC, to make an average defense with.
Yeah,
And it
just hasn't been.
Hasn't been there.
Maybe he brings in Dan Campbell.
To call defense, former tight end. He calls offense for the Lions.
Fuck it. We
They'll
want him
bring
on
in,
defense.
no, they'll bring in Aaron Glenn
Ooh.
when he's fired.
Mike Vrabel instantly turns the Pats into a 1 seed despite the
Yep.
NFL's lowest strength of schedule, shittiest strength of schedule. Pete Carroll,
Oh yeah.
Brian Schottenheimer, who's been exceeded everyone's highest possible expectations in terms of making the Cowboys
Yeah.
a very good offense.
That's why it's scary to hire McCarthy.
agreed. That's a great point.
But yeah, no, he's done well.
Kellen Moore, who in year 1 looks like a really solid hire,
Yeah.
and
Shot surprised me.
Coach of the Year candidate Liam Cohen for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I fully ride with him too.
Yeah.
Duval.
True. Duval. The eyebrows. That was crazy.
Should we do?
I think let's do one thing. Today is Friday. Monday is going to be Black Monday, and probably within the next week everyone's going to be fired. Let's do a last second run through. Are they going to have an opening or not? And we'll check.
We just go
later back.
And yes means they get fired, and no means they keep their job, or the other way around,
How about we just say
Fired.
fired?
Okay.
or hired.
No, fired.
Just say fired or not fired.
Okay. So Raiders, we're saying
it.
fired.
Fired. Or first, what would you do if you were the Raiders? I would fire Pete Carroll.
Fired.
Oh, are we predicting or what are we? We already did what we did.
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Okay, yeah. So I think he'll be fired.
Yeah. So prediction fired. Giants already fired. Jets, no.
I think Glenn stays.
Not fired.
Titans already fired. Cardinals, we're saying probably fired.
I think Yannon's fired.
Okay, so that puts us at 3, just to count.
Mm-hmm.
Browns.
Not fired.
I don't know
Not
what's
fired.
going on, but I'm gonna guess not fired.
Yeah.
Apparently everyone loves him. I didn't even know.
Commanders not fired. Saints not fired. Chiefs not fired. Bengals.
I think they'll keep him. I think they should fire him, but I think he'll stay.
fired.
I think they'll keep him because they don't spend money
Yeah.
and they're bitches.
Yeah.
Dolphins, we think no. Falcons, we think no. Buccaneers, I think yes.
I would be.
I
I would actually be
fired.
shocked if he wasn't fired.
Okay, so then Cowboys, Lions, Ravens. Ravens, we're saying
No.
no. Vikings, no. Colts, no. Panthers, no. Steelers, probably no. That's actually not too many openings.
What is that?
Yeah.
5 we came up to?
I think I said 4, but maybe it's 5.
Does that include the Giants?
Raiders?
Yeah, it
and
doesn't.
the
They didn't-
Titans?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Raiders,
Didn't include
Giants,
the already
Titans,
fired.
Cardinals,
4,
Browns.
5. No, we didn't say the Browns. We said they kept Stefanski.
Oh yeah, just 4.
Hmm.
We only said 4.
Hmm.
There's gonna be a surprise. Maybe the
Yeah.
Browns, maybe the Bengals. You know, maybe the Falcons. Oh, we said the Buccaneers, so 5.
There you go.
Did you guys want to hit a fraud watch?
I don't have anything specific. Todd Bowles.
Connor, start us off.
All right, so this week's Fraud Watch, we are going to be taking the information that we've gathered this past year about teams that fan bases that may not be liking their head coach.
There's a dog.
Heck yeah.
Man, can you fucking pay attention? Connor's trying to
There's
talk.
a dog. In
We're
the-
trying to do a podcast.
Dog in the window.
Dog.
Dog watch.
All right, okay. Fraud Watch, we're taking the information that we've gathered over the past this season, I guess, from fan bases that they might not be liking their head coach, and we're going to call BS on some of these. And I kind of brought it before, but for me, the biggest one is Jim Harbaugh. There is no reason why this guy should be getting flamed like he is. I think that, for me personally, this is the biggest fraud watch take, firing Jim Harbaugh as a head coach. I think that
So the take is on Fraud Watch.
the take is on fraud watch.
I would
Jim
say-
Harbaugh isn't on fraud watch.
John Harbaugh is on the guy watch.
Yes.
As in he's the guy. He's not fraud.
Yeah, almost the fan bases are on fraud watch.
That's true.
Gotcha.
All right, Ravens.
Gotcha.
You're on Fraud Watch.
Fuck, I have no fraud watch take prepared. Matt, do you have anything?
Just us 3. I mean, if you look back on that whole episode, how many we don't know crap about these guys.
speak for yourself,
These
bro.
guys
I know.
are career men who just pour their lives into football.
They have wives.
They're way
families.
better at things than we'll ever be, and we're like, you kind of suck.
I don't know what it is. I just don't like them.
I realize we know we're always frauds, but specifically today, we're frauds.
All
I
right.
actually disagree. I've been impressed with our lack of fraudulence.
Okay.
We've been more competent as a podcast. than
Miles
I
is putting
predicted.
Connor on the guy watch. Or what's,
Yeah.
We need to
About damn
Yeah, what's the
time.
we need
opposite
to
of
figure
fraud
out the
watch?
opposite of fraud watch.
I don't know.
Maybe some alliteration.
I don't know, but you brought up
God watch?
Bro, oh,
God watch.
God.
Something.
Bro.
dog watch.
Dog watch.
That's a
Yeah,
good
dude,
one.
that's it. That's
Dog was dog watch. Was
Oh,
a good
yeah.
one because you just said it.
Oh,
Dog,
the
dog,
But I'm thinking dog like underdog. I forget that you got that dog in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
LaFleur, Packers. You brought that up as a bad take.
Yeah.
I've been hearing that one too.
If we want to keep potting for potting's sake, we could just talk about the big games coming up. Otherwise, we can call it here.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
at
let's-
118.
Let's so let's talk about what we want to do next week for our episode.
Okay.
We can always cut it.
Yep. So we're gonna meet. I think we just do like playoff preview.
Yeah, probably, right? Because the games will be done by Monday, so
We can run a recap of. Oh, yeah. We can run a recap of Black Monday.
Yeah, a recap, like a 10 or 20 minute recap. Agree or disagree with it, do a playoff
Mhm.
preview.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think at this time of year when the NFL calendar is giving you the juice, the excitement,
Mm-hmm.
you just lean into what's happening right now.
You squeeze the orange.
Yeah. when they're piling juicy melons just right in your face, you
Organic.
gotta crush them.
Unsqueezed.
Whereas like later when there's like some raisins on the table, you're like, oh, we'll head away.
Dude, when there's raisins on the table is when I thrive. We start to get into draft season. The
I
less
know.
to talk about, the better.
I'm
oh
excited.
my gosh. I've been trying to like hold all my takes
I
from
know.
Miles because I'm like,
Oh,
I need to say this at a better time.
Yeah, and
I've been pretty bad at
it's to
that.
be live. So what you've watched receivers?
Oh,
A lot?
yeah, I mean,
Have
not
you-
a lot.
What? Okay, what else have you?
So the
looked
big
at?
thing, I'll just say this. I told Miles this. I was like, I have an idea of what I'm thinking, but
Yeah.
I really like to wait until the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl,
Yeah.
and the Combine, and with the Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl, it gives you reps of these players against draft competition.
Yeah.
It's not just like somebody lining up against the third string cornerback that's getting ready for home ec. Like,
True. You don't know, like, if you're just a guy watching film, you don't know how good the corner is.
Yeah.
That just manned him
you
up.
have no idea.
Oh,
Yeah.
he can't separate. Well, he's playing against a guy who's great in man
Yeah.
coverage.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, that's why I was big on Alec because he had like
Over
3,000
Travis
yards on
Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, true.
Heck yeah, dude.
So we'll plan on just doing a little playoff preview, probably.
Yep. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah,
A lot of big games. Six big games.
yeah. I agree with that.
Let's head out.
Thank you for tuning in to the fourth episode? Of
Fourth-
Football
episode
Frogs?
4.
Episode 4. Introduction of Dog Watch. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. To all our loyal listeners out there, we appreciate you. We love you. Remember that you can super chat us. Remember that Sean McDermott is pro-Taliban.
Amen.
Remember that even on Black Monday, you can have a good day. Even if your favorite head coach gets fired, even if your favorite head coach stays unfired, you can still have a good day. I hope you have a good weekend. Thank you, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.